Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be looking at this fun rocket from Hyundai, the Hyundai IONIQ 5N, a car with 650 horsepower for 70,000 euros. That is quite mind-boggling, and it's also the first electric car as an N model from Hyundai. And we're going to look at everything, launched from 0 to 100, look at all the details that's new, and take it for a sporty drive. Hopefully you enjoy, and let's get right into it. Like I already mentioned, it's going to be 70,000 euros for this car. If you get it in our variant, around 72,690, due to the fact that we have two options on here. One is the matte performance blue color, which you can get for 990 euros, as well as the seat function, so you get ventilated and heated seats and stuff like that. The car has changed quite a lot. With all of the touches that they have changed, it's going to be 2 centimeters lower. It's going to be 8 centimeters wider, longer, and 5 centimeters wider. You can see you got a big front lip spoiler in there, black touches with these red inlines in there, which look really cool. The N badge on there, the typical lights that you get, which are your matrix LED lights, this little grille in the front, and the blue color really does shine on here. Down here we can also see a little bit of indents in there, which are all real vents, which is nice, so you have no fake touches on there. Really cool in my opinion. And just in the front, it looks very sporty and really low to the ground, which just makes it look very aggressive. And under here, the cover might look like it's hiding a wonderful V8, but it's not. It has 2 electrical motors, which are permanent synchronized motors, one in the back, one in the front. In conclusion, you're going to be producing 609 horsepower with the boost mode for 10 seconds, 650 horsepower, 770 newton meters, and 740 without the boost mode. That's going to get you from 0 to 100 in 3.4 seconds with the boost mode and 3.5 seconds without it. Top speed of 260 kilometers an hour. We're going to see if that's actually doable, and let's get right into the 0 to 100 test. For the 0 to 100 test, we're going to have to set a couple of things up. We're first of all going to set the road grip level to low and then activate launch control. Then go down here, put it into the N mode, and also put it into the custom 2 mode. Well, you don't need to do it, but that's what I like to do. It's my own custom mode. And then we're just going to brake here. Use this button to go from 0 to 100 in 3.4 seconds, which is claimed. Let's see where we get on the race box. Hit that and push. Oh, wow. 3.71 seconds. There was a little bit of a delay in the boost once you're at like 30%. We're gonna do it one more time to see where we can get, but that already is insanely quick. 3.71 seconds with a slope of, we did have 3%, so we should on the way back get a good value. 3.61. So my colleague got, or Lars got 3.52. So I think it is a fairly good value, and the road grip level is just really low. There's some dirt on there as well. So wow, this is really quick, and it's just insane how that punch feels. Dimensions of the car are going to be 4 meters and 71 long, 1 meter and 94 wide without the side mirrors, and 1 meter and 58 tall. The ground clearance has shrunk by 2 centimeters, now down to 14.2 centimeters. And we also now get 21-inch aluminum rims in the front with 4 piston brakes in there, which are the N brakes, 400mm diameter of the brake disc in the front and 360 in the rear. These are also on Pirelli P0 tires, so you should get quite a good amount of grip, apart from if they're as dirty as ours here. That is quite dirty. The blue color on here really does do well with all the black, and also the red touches down here on the sidebar or the side skirt with the N badge integrated down there on the center, which looks pretty cool. More aerodynamic touches on the side, just widening the car a little bit, which are actually provide a little bit of airflow towards the rear wheels. You have keyless go or keyless entry in the front here, as you can see. If I get the, first of all, let's take a look at this thing. They have changed it now to being black, and also the N on there. It still feels very cheap. Not the best touch there, but we do have these foldable out door handles, as well as automatically foldable side mirrors. But just the way this car looks, in my opinion, from the side as well, it has a really nice side profile. And in the right rear, you're able to charge this car. You can open this automatically, or there's also a button in the interior where you can open it as well. This is going to be the biggest battery that Hyundai have placed into any car so far, which is an 84 kilowatts an hour battery, which is quite big. You're going to be able to charge that in around 18 minutes from 10 to 80% with the 800-volt architecture, which is really good. We've actually been able to get, well, 16 minutes from 20 to 80%, so very good with an average speed of around 191. Max speed you can charge is 260 kilowatts, so you can be able to charge this up really quickly. That's one thing they definitely wanted to be able to do as well. If you're on the racing track, you can do like 2 laps. You're gonna have to recharge it 16 minutes, 18 minutes. You're gonna be able to go out there again. But very quick charging speed, that's supposed to get you a range of around 448 kilometers in the city, or around 100 kilometers more, so 500 something, 50-ish. Quite good. And well, if you want to use it over long journeys, there's also a video on the top right corner where you can check that out for all the information about the consumption of this car. But we're going to obviously talk about that a little bit more once we're driving. In the rear, you, for instance, get a fairly big spoiler up here, which is actually real, so you have airflow going through there. We have a red bar there, which kind of goes into line with the light up there. The diffuser, which has been increased quite a bit with also a light down there, that's 8 centimeters longer now, so it makes the car 8 centimeters longer. Wow. N logo on there, and with the blue color, looks pretty good. We obviously don't have exhaust, but we do have exhaust sound. If we open the car's trunk, we can see in here quite a practical trunk, 480 liters up to 1,540 liters. We cannot tow anything with this car, but you also have vehicle to load, so you can charge your e-bike or stuff like that. You also have a little bit more storage space down there, but not too much. That's where, for instance, the charging, or not the charging, but the port for your vehicle to load is in. You can just put a couple of things down there. We don't have a frunk like the normal IONIQ 5 because of the front motor as well. But yeah, that is the electrical boot, and a fairly practical car if you want to use it as your daily.
Let's first of all take a look at the interior. You can see a couple of changes have been made to the N model. For instance, we have 2 buttons down here, one for your sound, one for your custom mode, which are not rotary dials, but they are just pressable dials. We have the nitrous grin mode, or the N grin boost mode. We have drive modes, and just in general a very well done steering wheel. We have a new updated infotainment display, or infotainment system, where we now get inductive wireless, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You can see also looks a little bit different, and we also get the N modus in here where we can change a couple of things. We'll look at that a little bit more once we're driving. Well, actually, let's take a look at it right now and turn off the music. We, for instance, can change here. We have 2 custom modes which we can change. We have the motor, which you can put to Sport Plus. If we go up here, you can also see all the systems. We have our steering input. Okay, this is in German now, but ELSD, we have ESC, we have NAS, which is our ignition sound basically, or fake exhaust sound. Really well done. There's a lot of things you can do. G-force you can there. You have launch control, performance option, and you can also, if we go down here, put in drift mode, race mode, and pedal. Torque distribution, you can change the distribution of the torque. You also have around 20 or so racetracks, even more than 20, where you can have all the different details in there. See the length of it. You have a lap timer in here, where if you go down here, and it can also do it automatically if it uses a GPS, and you can also have your 0 to 100 test actually valued in here. There's lots of stuff that you can do. You have your battery temperature, you have your gas pedal input. You can see how much input we've had here. A couple of times where we've had 100%. And just in general, also your speed, for instance. It's just really well done with all the infotainment systems that we have in there. Really, really well done. Otherwise, your typical, well, IONIQ 5, apart from the bucket seats. Let's now take it for a spin. If we go into reverse mode, you can see we have a 360-degree camera, fairly high quality, and also obviously a sound from the outside when you put it into reverse. If we back up now, hopefully there's no cars going to be coming here, so I don't crash into any of them. We also have quite a lot of safety features. For instance, we have blind spot assistance, we have rear traffic collision warning, we have adaptive cruise control, a lot of things that we did already talk about on the consumption test, for instance. You can drive this car how you would just like a normal IONIQ 5 if you just put it into normal mode. Then you wouldn't even know that you're driving in, well, IONIQ 5N, because that's the beauty of electric vehicles. You can just put them into any mode and they will just feel like you're not driving anything special. If you're driving a V8, you'll always know that you're driving in a V8 because of also the different amount of torque that you have in there and just the gas pedal responsiveness. But in here, it really feels like also you're driving a normal one. You do have a couple of different modes, so you can go into Eco, Sport, and Normal. In Sport changes a couple of your layouts and just makes it a little bit more sporty. However, you do also have the custom button down here. If you press that, you have your custom modes. In those custom modes, I already did talk about that. You have a couple of different settings that you can choose, and like I said, you have 2 different ones. I set up the first one to be almost the most sportiest, apart from the damping, because the adaptive dampers that you have on here are very firm, and just in general the suspension is more on the firm side, so you definitely feel it in your back every single bump. If we do press this button as well, we can hit the sound, and you can hear now we have the sound enabled. And that allows me to also manually shift. If I shift down, for instance, you can hear that. First gear. And that, I gotta say, is insanely well done. The artificial gearbox that they have integrated in here, with also the fake pops and bangs on the outside, well, not on the outside, in the back speaker, is so well done that it even pushes you into the seat and gives you the feeling that you're actually driving a real gearbox, and you just get that punch back when the gear is shifting, which just feels so amazing. I'm gonna turn around here for a second and just do that again. It is, in my opinion, hard to put into words how well it is done. You really gotta drive to experience how this feels. I mean, yeah, the sound might not be the greatest at high RPMs, but I think at low RPMs it is really well done. It's supposed to mimic a 4-cylinder of your normal N models or your normal combustion engine cars. It, in my opinion, sounds a little bit like the Kia Pro CGT, and one thing you can also do if you shift it down, you can actually have it... There you go. It's obviously not going to hurt the car, but it theoretically is going to go up to the red line and then just stall out there. Well, not stall out there, but completely finish it up. It is just so well done, because it really makes you feel different compared to the other electric cars. In this, it makes you feel like it does have a lot of power compared to if you just put it into the normal mode and then you push it down. Yeah, it's quick, but it doesn't give you the same feeling compared to when you're driving it with a gearbox. That just adds a whole different experience to it. With that sound, it is just top class. It's crazy how well they have done this. It is so fun. Obviously, if you do put it into this mode, you're not going to have the full 650 horsepower. That is only if you press the NGB button up here. Then for 10 seconds you're going to have the full amount of power. So if I go down, put it into the N mode, it's going to turn off the sound. But then that kick is insane. That's another 41 horsepower that you're going to be able to produce, then 30 Newton meters more, which is really insane. But that gearbox, I'm going to have to say it so many times, it is so well done. It's so fun to drive. You really got to drive it yourself to experience how fun it is. And you can, in the automatic mode, it just does it really well. It's the only car where I really want to kind of like keep it turned on. You know, you turn it on and you're like, I could keep driving with this for a couple of minutes or even the whole trip, and then you push it down. Oh, it is insane how quick it is as well. It is so fun to drive. Wow, have they done that amazingly. Obviously you can change a couple other things if you don't want to be in that mode the whole time. Press on it, sound is gone. Up here we do also have, because we have 2 cameras in the back, you can flip this over and you have a digital mirror, which I do like to use at daytime. At nighttime I use the normal one. Otherwise, this car is really fun to drive. Really don't know much to say otherwise. They have changed a couple of things as well. For instance, you have mounted rack power steering, which has been integrated, so a little bit more feedback from your torque and also a more precise steering input. They have also integrated a second inverter to have more brake regeneration, so 435 horsepower of brake generation or 0.8 Gs of brake force can be regenerated in here. You do have 1-pedal drive theoretically if you want to use that as well. And obviously you can use these pedals to shift or change your recuperation. But wow. It is insane how fun this car is, and for the price point, 70,000 or 72,000 euros, there's really not much competition apart from the Kia EV6 GT, which we did already take a review of, top right video, if you want to check that out. But this is another class with that gearbox, so well done. You do obviously have the 0 to 100 value of 3.4 seconds, but we did also do a 100 to 200 test, with 7.89 seconds. We did have the Lotus Electra, which got 7.8, so a little bit faster. But Lamborghini Urus, for instance, what was it, 8.2?
9.2.
In 9.2 seconds. That is just ridiculous how fast this is. Obviously an EV, but even 100 to 200, this is insanely quick. And 260 kilometers of top speed, yeah, you're not gonna get too much range out of that. But again, like I said, top right video if you want to check all of the well, consumption. We'll quickly look at what we got on the normal one. If we drive normally, we, for instance, in the city over the last, well, actually not combined, over the last 2,400 kilometers, 25 kilowatts an hour battery consumption. The average consumption that WLTP claims is 21.2. So realistically, you're gonna get around 320 kilometers of range. We can see we're at 69% right now, 220 kilometers of range left.
So how do I sum up this car? Well, I think the best way to say it is the only electric car that I've so far driven that really brings out emotions of characteristics when driving this car. It is one of the only EVs that you can really drive and enjoy driving it, even fast and performance-wise. The gearbox is so well done, and I think really some other manufacturers should maybe look at Hyundai and say, okay, wow, you really did something good here, buddy. You really did outdo yourself, because this is so fun to drive. You really got to drive it yourself to experience it to its fullest, and just the way it looks as well. I think it's a complete package that they've really done, and the pricing is also not too bad in my opinion. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.